The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.
We hope to help you. We want you to know that there's some life after the hurt. Welcome to Brain Mechanics. Today we're going to cover several topics, and one is looking out for your loved one, the injured one, because oftentimes they're susceptible to scams or just they say yes to everything, things like that. But looking out for them. We're going to talk about a variety of subjects today. We've got dynamic Dave Lundquist with us, myself, Mahlon, Whittaker, and of course the host of the show, Matt Duffin, the Brain Mechanics.
Well, here we are again. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you. And we're still going through the health scares of America, I assume.
Yes.
And this show's taped, so I hope it's not got any worse than it already is, but I assume it will.
Well, I think that, we're currently in the early part of the coronavirus, not to be confused with Corona Extra, which is a drink that can be made palatable with limes.
With a slice of lime, yes.
Yeah, at least.
I can't drink no more.
We don't know when this airs, but what we want to focus on today is just some simple things from the point of view of we've got several subjects, but my background, as I explained to Matt, is I spent nearly 3 decades working in the paper and packaging industry, which also included hygiene products, and there were it was the early part of the ecological movement, like, well, we're wasting trees and we're this and that. There's a reason that we have disposable products and why you should use them, and I can strongly make that argument. There was this girl, and her name was Mary. I don't know her last name, but she became known as Typhoid Mary. She worked in a restaurant, and she kind of sort of washed dishes, and she didn't really show any symptoms, but she managed to infect an entire city. And because of Mary's disease, the demand for something that could work came up. In lieu of the Sears catalog, this item, toilet tissue, very effective.
I thought it was corn cobs.
Well, we started there. That was if you were lucky enough to farm. But not everybody lived on a farm.
Not everybody could have a corn cob.
And the Sears catalog wasn't as big. And those of you that are younger, you won't know what a Sears catalog was, but it was this big stack of uncoated paper sheets and you just put it out in the and paper towels and this sort of thing.
Playboys, if it was all men?
No.
No.
And I have to keep this serious, even though you're not. But glossy stock is not an effective cleaning agent. I want you to know that. Okay. So the important thing to do is to remember that the reason we have plastic cups, and I had one here someplace, and paper towels and these sort of things, is for effective cleaning. Where it's important when it comes to brain injury and brain injured type people. Okay. Now, Matt prefers the red Solo cup, as is in the country song, but this is a blue Solo cup. The important of these things is the disposable type of wear and helping those that are brain injured and that are coming back into your life is to watch out for their health and hygiene. There's reasons we have these type of products, and they're very handy to use in lieu of reusable type product. If you're very, very efficient about washing and cleaning up and that sort of thing.
Well,
but Matt, truly, you have to relearn
everything. And as you're explaining that, you have to explain it to them the next day too.
Yeah.
And the day after that, and maybe 5 months from then, maybe they'll start getting it. And some days they won't. Kind of like taking the pills.
Yeah.
I take pills 4 times a day. Do I remember to? Never. I mean, that's
why
why I
you
have
all the
help.
time.
Well, and we the hosts here are at an age where we know about that pill thing, but focus on hygiene, and especially with the advent of the coronavirus, we obviously hope that it has and will ameliorate. Everyone does, but remember, disposable products are for a reason. Have them around the house. Teach people how to use them. Okay, they may have their favorite Solo cup, as Matt does, but substitute the next Solo cup with their favorite. They won't know initially, but they'll eventually catch on and go, "You're changing cups on me, aren't you?" And yeah, well, we had to do that. The other thing is using effective hand washing techniques with soaps, lots of water. Encourage water, and water has a wonderful healing effect, both as a bath and as well as for just keeping a general cleanliness. Other issues can come up for the brain injured, and we've seen this with some people that we know of, where because of poor hygiene, they wind up in, whether it's toothbrushing,
Right.
et cetera, it starts to affect them,
Because you have to learn. I mean, when you go to a rehab center at first, when you're first awake and everybody, here you gotta learn this all over again. They help you brush your teeth for a few days. For a few days until you learn to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
It takes a while. And in other hygiene, and that's, even the women talk about it with brain injuries, how they had to learn to go to the restroom again, and that's not exactly how they say it. But,
Yeah.
because it's the way it is, and they're calm, and they'll explain that to you, because if it's any kind of nursing outfit at all is teaching you this, they keep it calm, they keep it honest.
Right.
They know you, so you're allowed to talk about it, and you're allowed to say what words that I'm not allowed to say right now.
Well,
because
people-
it's
I
life.
think
They're
people
trying
get
to
it.
learn life again.
Yeah. And as I said, effective use of soaps and the like, please make sure that you have them around and that it's literally part of the ritual. Using soap, the water is warm, or whatever the person can
It's
stand.
like
at that
everything
point.
else. I'm not a big believer in fake or deceit.
No.
I know it has to happen. I'm big on the choices, If I got a choice between Burger King and McDonald's, I can make my choice. You start throwing in Arby's and you start throwing in
Confusing
Red
for you.
Barn. I mean, different things. Red Barn, how old am I? But it gets very confusing. You don't want to make those choices. Touchdown. And,
Well, it's good to see your old neurons are still firing as well, Matt.
Sure.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, Red Barn. Next thing we'll be going to Miller's Milk House. I'll tell you what. But anyway, from my background of paper and cleanliness and the like, when someone does challenge you on something like that, well, why do we use plastic cups and they're a mess? Proper recycling and disposal. The important thing here with brain injury is to keep people from getting sick. They already have an injury, and you don't want sickness to spread. So likewise, you need to be careful about what you do, what you handle, and how you approach everyday things. When I go to the hospital, it looks like I'm in an advanced yoga class because I never touch the doors to open them. I don't operate the elevator buttons with my hands
well,
at all.
I've long been that way myself as far as I can remember before. Like in a truck stop or at a bar or somewhere.
Yeah.
You just don't use your elbow to open that door.
Yeah, truck stop, that just goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, those are just things you do. But you have to reteach people how to
Yes.
do that.
Yeah.
And
Well, the important thing is to have the cleanliness and the like, and then as far as the products themselves, as to what value they are. The value is not in just convenience, but the value is in the ability to keep down disease and the like. And those people that have been brain injured or hurt or are challenged in some way don't need another issue besides the injury.
I can't think. My mind's slipping.
That's okay.
Our reflection, our recovery is not as strong right now. We have other issues to battle. And enzymes and different things shouldn't be hitting our bodies.
And the other thing is that keep in mind, and Dave, you've seen this. You're a fellow time traveler here with me. Do you remember in 2000 we had Y2K?
Yes, sure.
Do you remember any of the preparations that people were going through on that?
I guess I'll go back to when I had to hide under a desk in 4th grade because that was the way to, prepare for nuclear attack.
The bombs were
people
coming.
everywhere were building, not everywhere, but a number
Shelters.
of people were building fallout shelters, and of
Right.
course there were buildings turned into the fallout shelters. They
When
might
Milton,
even
when Milton used
still
to have
the
the
same
school, we all
sign.
gathered
We had
there
a
in the
fallout
basement.
Yeah, well,
We had a fallout shelter.
I asked my dad, I was pretty young and stupid, Dad, are we going to get a fallout shelter? He said, no, don't think so. I said, well, what happens if, Russia sends all these bombs over, and attacks us, what do we do? Well, I guess we'll die. And that's fine. What else?
Go
Is
see
it really
Grandpa.
going to happen? Is it really going to happen? Is it going to
That's a
happen?
World War II veteran.
The point I want to make though,
gotta
is
duck.
he referenced all the way back to David referenced all the way back to the 60s,
Early mid-50s,
and late
yeah.
late mid 50s and so on, and we were under the worry at that time and fear that there was going to be a nuclear conflict, and there are several times when it came very close.
Or at least being bombed.
Yes, and the point is that people with brain injury, Matt, tell me, you're easily frightened. You've already had to give up a lot of what your life was about, and now, there's the coronavirus, there's Y2K, there's the nuclear what.
It's not even a consideration.
But people do. Brain injured people get worried about all kinds of stuff.
I mean, inside, as far as individually, because it's, again, it can't be worse than what I already am. That's the feeling.
Well,
with the
maybe
brain
that's,
injury.
been there, done that. Is that what you
Pretty much,
worst
big
thing
deal.
that happened, you already did?
Sure.
Already lived through it, I guess it's time, whatever. I mean,
I don't know
we
that I
all
would try and sell it that way necessarily, or reference to someone that way, but maybe that is a good thing,
You asked for where we come from, our opinions.
Yes. No.
I've been in groups, and I'm more concerned about is my ride coming to get me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a general fear and panic, and what I'm saying is,
I shake
please,
your hand. I don't care.
don't let people get there. Use the proper precautions. Soap, water, hand towels. Teach them the things. Be patient. You're going
Right.
to have to do this every day, and whether they're brain injured or not, people watch something on TV. A friend of mine had a gentleman who took one of the clicker counters, and he was watching CNN for an hour, and he clicked it each time they said coronavirus. 700 clicks later. This is in an hour program with commercials, and so you can imagine
Commercials
that they
probably
weren't.
had it mentioned too.
They weren't suggesting, if they'd said peanut butter and jelly 700 times, you probably would have gone out and got some Jif or something. I don't know, but the important.
Seems like the whole world, except for the president, is mentioning it.
well, even
And he's mentioning
he's
it as
starting
like,
it,
no,
no?
we're not sick. No, we're not going to get sick. So they're
well, but it's
we're
back
not
to my
supposed to
point.
worry about it.
It's the panic that can be set in. You can see that in the market. Currently, the market is depressed and lost a lot. But the important thing is for those of us that are dealing with brain injured people and people who are in recovery and the like, is to not panic ourselves. Now, there's all kinds
Right,
of
well-
stuff to panic about, don't you? I mean, the fact that they can't name something.
If they're going to scam me, maybe this virus is a big scam. I'm easily scammed. I'm very easily scammed,
Yeah.
obviously. But
No, and that's
that's what I mean. Am I being scammed on this virus? Is it real?
Well, by the
Are
time
people
this show
getting
airs,
sick
we'll
and
find out.
dying? I mean, and we know people are dying. Is that really what they're dying of? And what we got 300 and some tests the other day in America for 300 and some million people.
And the important thing is to not panic. Disease is not a political thing, it's a practical thing.
Right.
The reason we have such a healthy and large population is because we, as Americans, are we wasteful? Yes, we are, but properly
share-
done, all these kind of things can be recycled.
We share things like that.
Polo Cup can go back. Let's look at solutions, but from my perspective of this show, the brain mechanics is don't panic. And as Matt pointed out so clearly, the big stuff's already happened to you, okay? You've had the stroke, you've had the car wreck, you've had the motorcycle,
Aneurysm's already taken
Yeah,
off.
you're wondering where the hell am I and who who are these people? Oh, it's my wife and daughter.
Which, by the way, real quick, I interrupt.
Go ahead.
If you start having any of those feelings that we've discussed, of not being able to remember, of not, did I touch that? Did I not? Where did I put that? It might not necessarily be your age.
Okay.
There's different tics and tricks that happen inside your brain, showing you that you're getting ready to have an aneurysm. It's as simple as that. You're changing, or you're already igniting some little ones, because them blood vessels in the brain are itty bitty bitty. And any kind of smooth and damage at all is going to affect another one to another one to another until the healing comes.
So you're saying watch, even as a caregiver, you need to be paying attention to these.
Sure, because an aneurysm to someone like with my accident and my damage, my blood pressure is checked tremendously constantly because they worry about blood pressure causing them to affect and make them, they've already been damaged area, they'll float and boat. Is what we call it,
Is it? Okay.
And that's just what happens. I'm not trying to scare anybody out there. That's why I say stay in touch with your
like I said,
neurologist for life.
We say in our opening and close that we're not doctors or lawyers or anything else or medical professionals, but we've been there. What are some of the
My
symptoms?
initials are MD, so I'm Matt
Well, there you
Duffin,
go.
MD.
So are mine as well. But anyway, don't brag. You're two docs in the room here, and that's in docs, DOX. But anyway, what are some of the symptoms that you might want to watch out for? Maybe you're the caregiver. You're under a lot of stress too.
More forgetfulness, more tired, more falling asleep, more. The headaches will be like a headache you've never had before.
Really? Okay.
Unless you had an aneurysm, then there it is again. I'm not laughing at it, I'm laughing with it.
Well,
It is what it is. I am one.
when Matt laughs or I laugh about something and you say, how could a guy laugh about that? I mean, Dave, you got the situation where you have to keep a sense of humor about stuff, even if it might seem externally, what's the right word? Inappropriate?
I've told doctors this for years. They're always worried about whether I'm disappointed or I'm depressed. And I say, I'm fatalistic. I really don't think a lot of good things are going to happen, but I'm not depressed. I'm not depressed. In fact, my whole family, we've laughed about things about death for years. It's been this way. We talk about it openly. I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but when I call my sister and my two brothers, and I'll say, hey, Brother Dave, just call back sometime. Nobody died, and I mean that's kind of a standard greeting for us, almost. But and that's maybe a little, beneath the bar of decency, but not for me, not for my family. I laugh at myself all day long. Just hope I don't hurt myself. That's
Too much humor?
I'm a huge believer in death only hurts the living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Those of us that remain, obviously, are the ones that
And the hurt and the missing and the memories.
And my wife's been on what I call both sides of the veil. She didn't want to be back here. As a matter of fact, that was one of her first questions to me. Why am I here? And I said, what do you mean? She said, it was so beautiful there. I don't want to be here. I mean, that's quite a statement,
Yeah.
I had to convince her that it was still good to stick around. But anyway.
Things to do.
Yeah, I got things to do. But in watching out for, we've talked about health a little bit. We've covered some of the signs, and this is the signs that Matt just mentioned, especially the headache.
Out of the blue for no reason at all.
Yeah. Now my keys have legs and they frequently walk off to another location in the house where I know I didn't put them. But the severe headaches.
Stammering, stuttering, I mean, rambling. Rambling comes with brain injury.
Man.
Well, rambling can come with brain injury and non-brain injury, but rambling comes with brain injury. Just the way it is.
I just like the way my teachers talked in high school. That's why I ramble. Anyway.
I obviously never heard enough from that one, so.
Well,
You guys had, I know I wanted to get into the Whitewater Canal sometime with both of you.
some of the Whitewater Canal still exists in front of my house.
Right, and some in Milton.
And what's impressive is it was dug all by hand. It's really, really impressive.
And
Well,
Dave and Doug Arthur they studied it, went up and down it, mapped it, did all kinds
Well,
of things
actually,
a few years ago.
Doug spent actually walked most of the canal with some Canal Society people, and we've talked to some of the people that are pretty knowledgeable about it, but haven't done much lately. We're both getting older, and I didn't get the grant that I thought I would get.
And the other thing to see is that when you're brain injured, it's easy to veer off onto a completely different subject and feel very comfortable about it. But there is one thing that I wanted to cover in the last few minutes that we've got with you. We're going to get back to the canal because that's a fascinating issue historically. But watching out for a person is not just at home about health and hygiene and retraining and this type of thing, but these are people that are fully functioning as adults, but maybe not at the level that you would hope that they're functioning.
No matter how strongly, I spent 6 years going to schools. Indiana University sent me to places to be smarter and learn this and help others and on, whatever. When I first came back from where I was, wherever that was, I'm looking at my girlfriend Connie at the time, and I told her, she's a sweet lady, I said, if this is it, I want to put smiles back on people's faces because y'all.
Sure.
I'm looking at people that it's like I'm in the casket, and they're looking at me in the casket, and they're turning and they're crying, and I'm trying to talk to them, and evidently I'm muttering and not saying nothing. But you don't learn that until later on down the line that,
Right.
Because people will talk and say, I remember you saying, if that's the best I could do at the time, became, hi, how are you today? Through a lot of hard work from a lot of people.
Indeed. Well,
including myself.
I want to focus on it fully functioning, but susceptible to suggestion. And suggestion would be the door-to-door salesperson in our old days that came around. But maybe someone is offering landscape and lawn service. Maybe they want to put on a roof or whatever.
Cut trees.
Yeah, cut trees and different things. The important thing is that to be aware, be highly aware of who comes and goes and who contacts. Shopping on the computer is fun. Might be cool to get on Amazon and order something, but next thing you know, you got a trainload of hamburger patties that showed up for you, and because you ordered them on Amazon. So be careful and watch out what the brain injured and the recovering are doing, both online and as well as on the phone and this type of thing. In other words, who's reaching out and touching them? Because
Right.
we can go into specific examples of people that have entered into agreements that maybe probably wasn't as good, the best thing, but
We may one month
we may.
soon.
But the important thing is you're the caregiver and you're the person that's standing in the way of economic hardship and other hardships, okay? Sure, I'll sign the title of my car. Do I have to do that now? And then, the next thing you know, the car and the title's gone too. Just dumb stuff. What I'm asking you to do as a caregiver, be involved.
I got to do a promo real quick because
Go ahead.
this is what I do. I used to write sports for this newspaper, the Western Wayne News,
So did I years ago.
and Dave did forever. If you want honest news, local newspapers is where your life's going back to. It's where it came from. I mean, the internet has all this, that, and the other, but if you want to sit down and have your damn coffee in the morning, there's your newspaper to have it with.
Yeah.
You know, Nettle Creek Gazette. Those are one, you know, I know Union County has one. I don't know them all.
Support local.
There's your information. That's who got busted for drinking and driving, who's got married, has got it.
They don't put those names in.
And Western Wayne, the new Western Wayne News, owned by Jim and Brenda McLean.
Okay. They're both good.
Yeah, they hired me back after my injury. I tried for a couple years and too much having a job.
Yep.
This is my job.
All right. Well, as usual, we appreciate you watching. We're there for you. That's why we do this show. It's not a paid gig, believe it or not, but through the wonder of WCTV and the help here that we're able to have this out here for you. But please hang in there.
Yeah, I'd like to.
There's hope after the hurt, man.
Eric Marsh and Ryan Harris
Okay.
have just been so good and done so much. I talked them into letting me do a brain injury show. Here we are.
Well, and then we proved it, right?
Yeah.
It's not only popular, but we proved that we have technical issues. Thanks for being with us.
The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.